We are excited about the elaboration room.
I am excited about this.
Welcome to the Elaboration Room with Reverend Yo and Reverend Harris.
Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us in the Elaboration Room with two sisters of one. We are glad you are tuning in today for a treat that we have that I think me and Sissy got a little bit of difference on this note. We always have our little collaborations about what God has given us to talk about, and we deal with it. So I may have a little bit issues, but we're going to find out tonight. So tonight we're going to be talking about a word that most people try to ignore, and that's the word pride. Tonight we're going to be dealing with the word pride. Now we know all of us have some type of prideful in some type of way. None of us are free, in my opinion, but it's just my opinion of it. We can be prideful or full of pride in different things. So for me, when I looked up the word pride, because I had to just go there and break down a definition of it. Pride is a feeling, and this is from the Oxford Dictionary, a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those whom one is closely associated with, or from the qualities or possessions that are widely admired. So when I read that, I didn't see myself being prideful in that. However, I am very proud of the accomplishments that I have achieved in this life, especially from, the struggles that I had to go through in life. I do only associate myself with certain people when it comes to certain things. So when it comes to my close, intimate circle, I only deal with those that I have close relationships with. But I socialize with just about everybody. So when I thought about that, I was like, let's just figure this out. So me and Sissy had a little conversation. So and we disagreed on a little few things. And I was like, well, maybe I got a little pride because I don't deal, with everybody. I just don't. It's for my own sanity of health. It's for my own peace of mind. It's for my own ability to keep peace around me. So I don't deal with people that have a lot of drama or a lot of negativity because it's just not something that I want to be wrapped up in. So I am going to throw the ball over in Sissy's court, let her kick off what she wanted to discuss, and then we'll talk back and forth. Sissy, the ball's in your court.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Reverend Yo has already defined what the Oxford Dictionary states as pride. But here is something else to consider as well. When I'm coming from this space, when we are asked, how are you doing? And we say, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm fine, but we are hurting or we are in the midst of a storm moment. When our self-talk is, I cannot let anyone know my life is not perfect and I'm struggling, or I don't want to burden anyone with what I am going through, we are being prideful. Secluding ourselves is being prideful. Now, yes, you may not want to tell everyone your business, but there are those moments. We're not meant to live this journey, go on this journey by ourselves. We weren't bubble wrapped when God brought us into creation. We're supposed to be about connecting. And sometimes you just need someone to listen. I'm not saying that everyone can solve everyone else's issues and problems that they're going through, but you need to talk it out sometimes, holding it in isn't the way. Secluding yourself is being prideful, because we are putting into the atmosphere, I am going to handle this on my own. And we are not being honest with those around us or ourselves, and most importantly, or God. We will pray for everyone, but some of us will not call out our own names in the main space of honesty. Yes, God knows everything about us. God created us. So you may say, God already knows. But God still wants us to come to him with our troubles and with our needs and with our heart's desires. The Bible tells us to seek, to knock, to ask, tells us to pray continuously. God wants us to trust in him and to seek him out. Now, as God is our provider, sometimes the answer will be yes. Sometimes the answer will be no, or not yet. Or sometimes what we ask is not in line with God's character or with what is intended for us on our journey. But to not be honest and to try to maneuver this life journey on your own is, I'm saying, it's a form of being prideful, because you're thinking that you're not worthy. You're thinking that no one can handle it the way you can. And it's taking the connectiveness away from, I believe, God's intentions for us. Go ahead, sis. I see you.
Well, because I kind of disagree on some of it. Because just because I do something that somebody else can do, it doesn't mean that I'm prideful about it. Sometimes there are just things that need to get done, and either the process of doing them, there is a lack, or there is a not understanding. So after I've explained, and it's just me, after I've explained things a certain amount of times and it's still not done or getting done, I will do it myself, because especially if I have a deadline. Now, if I'm asking for something and I've asked you several times to get it done and it's just not being productive to get done, I'm doing it. I don't call that prideful. I call that getting the job done, because there's just some things that do have time frames and do have time limits. More of so, I don't find it pride, because to me, pride is when you think nobody else can do it, or nobody can do it better than you. I'm not that type of person when it comes to certain things. My thing is, if there is a deadline or a process that needs to be done and it's not getting done, or I've explained it just one too many times, it's time to pass it on to somebody else or just do it myself. So on that part, to me, it's not, for me, it's not being prideful. It's that I have a job to do or a deadline to meet and it needs to get done. Because some people wait on things to the last minute, or, oh, that's simple, I'll get to it, or I'll get it done. And then the deadline is here and then it's not done. So I understand where you're coming from on the other side of it, of the pride part, about not opening up to people or telling people, certain things. And on that end, for me, I don't tell everybody when I'm going through storms. It's between me, God, and probably one or two prayer partners that I have. I can be going through the storm of a lifetime, but I will not address that with just anybody. To
Well,
me,
that's
that's
what I said.
pride.
That's it. Okay. But I said you need someone to listen. I'm not saying that you post it on a billboard or that you're telling everyone that you meet up with, but you're talking to God about it, and you have your spiritual connections with whoever that is, and you're telling them, that you're not okay.
Mhm.
And that's it. But there are so many people that are walking around that are not okay,
That
but
is
they
true.
are saying that they are okay.
Well, we have to also understand a lot of people will say they're okay. One, it can be something personal within them. They either believe that the person won't understand the struggles that they're dealing with or going through, or they don't want somebody to know a certain thing about them. It can be different things. Yes, selfishness and pride are very similar, but to me, pride is more of your arrogance. It's more of you more so being focused on certain things that may be dealing with whatever. To me, when you have people in that state, to me, that's more of selfishness. And there is a difference between pride and being selfish, because the condition of selfishness is more of so I'm selfish, it's all about me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. The one of pride is more of so I can do it. I'm this, I'm that, I got this. I don't need nobody else. So to me, there's a difference between the two. And being selfishness is when it's all about you. Being pride means it's something you already have, and you more so I'm A, B, C, and D. For example, we are women preachers. We both have degrees. We are both highly educated. All that stuff is something both of us we have accomplished, but that's not something both of us flash out every time we talk. For example, I was in a meeting today. And the lady was like, well, how do I address you? I said, well, my name is Yolanda. Just like our parents, when we did our parents.
Yes.
Well, how do I
Mm-hmm.
address you? Well, what did you name me?
That's right.
So there's a difference in some things. In being one prideful of that, I'd have been like, well, look, I earned all my degrees. You're gonna call me by the titles I've earned, you're gonna call me by the names that I have, but it's not about that. Being selfish that's more prideful. Being selfish to me is get out my face and leave me alone. I won't be bothered with you. That's just my thought.
Now, see, I wasn't bringing. I didn't see how with selfishness and pride, I don't see those two things in any way in the same category. But I'm saying that, yes, pride is being boastful and all of that.
Because that's
But
what the Bible tells
pride
us.
is also having that about yourself, that you're not opening up. You're not opening up to God. You're not opening up to the truth of whatever it is that you are struggling with, if it is a struggle.
Yeah, I guess I see on this note different, because to me, not opening up to someone, I don't necessarily see that as being prideful. Um, I see that more of so as people are just struggling in different areas of life. Um, it's it's just different. It can be, for me, someone not wanting to open up or not wanting help. It can make them feel like, it can make them think that maybe somebody thinks they're weak in
And
some
that
way.
is pride.
No, in some way or
Yes.
another. No, I don't see that as pride, because we have to really look at it as more of someone can be dealing with other issues. In the society we in today, it can be mental issues, it can be
Mm-hmm.
something that happened to them negatively in their past, it can
Mm-hmm.
be a trust factor, it can be some type of anxiety they have. To me, that's not pride. That's someone seeking for help and don't know how. To me, that's not being prideful. It's just not, because for someone who is struggling in situations. Now, I've known both people. I've known people who family, close friends I know that have committed suicide, and I have people that's in friends of family that have dealt with some of the same things. And many of the cases, it can be some type of issue that they went through or were dealing with that caused one or the other to do that. Someone like when my friend's sister committed suicide, no one could understand. You're left wondering. But in their minds, it was, what could I have done to better? Because we knew A, B, C, and D, but we probably didn't know E, F, and G. Everybody's not going to always want to tell you when they're going through something. I don't personally call it prideful. It's just some things that people don't want to seem to appear a certain way to an individual, or it can be just that lack of trust of you even understanding, or you first, for us Christians, well, church folks, because church folks, Christians, they're all different. For some of us holy people, someone come to you and say certain things, then, well, God wouldn't want you to do that, or you can't do this, or the Bible says that's not always what people want to hear. Some people want to be heard. And when we cut them off from being heard, that right there is a drawback, that they're not comfortable talking to certain people. That's not pride. That's me asking for help, but every time I ask for help, I'm getting some type of judgment. So people do draw back, and I can't blame them from that. And some church folks are that bad. Instead of us giving the hand of Christ and giving the comfort and the peace and listening to people, the first thing we do is draw at them. And when we draw at people, people will draw back. That's not pride to me. They don't have that trust with individuals, or
well, with certain
they've had that
individuals,
experience
right?
before.
I can see that. I can agree with that with certain individuals, but you discern and who you can trust and who you can, that you have someone that you do trust,
But
that you
people don't
can go to.
But people don't have that all the time. People don't. We can understand it from this level because we have people around us. We have people in our life. We have those connections. We have that. I will speak of an anonymous family member. Yes, we're all family. Yes, you can call on us when you need us, A, B, C, and D. But in certain times, that's not going to happen. Why? Because I'm living in the street life. I'm living the drug life. I'm living the alcoholic life. Nobody's really going to understand. Yes, we understand, but for when you come in certain people's presence and they're always downing you for something that you say or where you live or what you do, that's not pride. That's, I don't want your drama, and I just choose not to be around you, and I choose not to tell you about my life or what I'm going through. It just happens. We can't control what people think. We can't control how they're going to react. I think the problem here is we as individuals need to think about how we're acting, what we're saying, and what we're doing. People should feel very comfortable coming to us in a conversation and not
Yes.
feel they have to be judged or we're going to judge. So we as individuals, in order for that trust to be built and in order for the anxiety of that person to decrease, we have to be the people that's approachable, not the ones that we are saying are prideful or not opening up to us. They're not opening up to us. It could be because of us. That's all I'm saying on that note.
Okay. Well, we hope that you have gotten something else to consider, because we have come from both sides of the street on this.
Both sides, around the mountain, up the hill,
Around
back
and
down through the
through.
valley.
But I do agree with my sister that we as individuals, we need to work on being more approachable. Because think about it, if you are going through something, if you are in the midst of something and you just want a listening ear, you want a listening ear that's going to be there and be supportive. God is that listening ear, but your sisters and your brothers need to be that listening ear as well. And if you are going through something and you're not okay, it's all right to say, I'm not okay right now. And you can even say, I'm going through, I don't want to discuss it with you right now, but I'm in the midst. And you can just ask for prayer.
Yeah.
So I pray that each person that is going through something would seek out and find someone that does have that listening ear that maybe can help on the situation or just hear you out. Yeah. But I pray that you find a space where you can talk and you can share it.
Yeah.
Because I know of too many situations where I believe the person did not find that space and they took their life because they could not talk it out.
Yeah. I think more so if we spend more time when we're with people actively listening instead of listening to respond.
Yes.
But we'll see the difference in, okay, they're going to let me get all this out. But many times we listen to respond instead of actively listening to what someone is saying. The more we listen when people talk, the more we let them see that we are listening. We're not trying to understand. We're not trying to figure out what they're going through. We're not trying to how to respond to them. Just sitting there listening to somebody sometimes can help. And because many times people just want to vent, they just want to talk. They want to get things off of their chest, out of their mind, because that mind can mess with you when things begin to play over and over and over again. And it's because you have not had the ability to talk it out. So it just keeps playing in your mind and it keeps festering and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And then all of a sudden you have no more control of your thoughts. All we're suggesting here is if you are in that stage, if you are in that state where you feel you cannot talk to anyone, find someone you can talk to. If you're having thoughts of suicide, call the suicide hotline. It's 988. Just call 988 and talk to someone. Find someone in your area that may be like a support group or some type of peer support to help you get through situations. The help is there. Our whole goal in this episode is, yes, it's titled Pride, but more so it's just allowing you the ability to let someone hear what you're going through. Find someone that will be non-judgmental. Find someone that will let you talk and not interrupt. Find someone just that you can vent off your last thought that's going through your mind, just so you can get it off your chest. So, and then at the end of that, if you want help, just ask. Because if they sit there and actively listen to you, they're willing to help you. That's just my thought about that. I'm done for real.
You say I'm done for real.
Because this topic is very deep.
It
and,
is.
dealing in the just coming out of mental health month. This is a serious topic. Because you're dealing with certain things and dealing with certain people, and we're judging, not necessarily us, people in general are judging on people for all the wrong reasons, when people just really want somebody to talk to or help in certain areas, and they don't feel like they have that because society has made it really just hard for people to do. It's really hard for people to do, to just have that ability to just be who they are.
Yes.
It's rough. I got the hiccups now. So.
All right, close us out, Miss Hiccups.
So you gonna make me hiccup through the whole closing now?
Go ahead.
So We hope you've given us something else to consider, since she didn't say that.
I
So I
did.
have to say that part too. We thank you for joining us in the Elaboration Room with two
With two
sisters
sisters
of
of
one.
one.
Our topics are dear to our heart, and the things that we give just more so want you to be able to think. So we hope you really enjoyed this segment. We hope to see you next week. And as we always do, we want you to be brave, be strong, and be different. Ask and it will be given unto you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Believe in yourself and encourage yourself. But in all things, remember, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Peace and blessings, our brothers and sisters. Until next week in the Elaboration Room with two sisters of one. Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye.
The Elaboration Room with two sisters of one. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode every Monday at 6 p.m.